Hello internet friends, my name is Catherine and I'm the human behind Creation Miss Couture, and today is another Color Wheel Monday, the series in which I make my way through color theory, one color at a time. What we've done so far in the series is work with the primary colors, so we've done the triangle for the primary colors, and now we're on to the secondary colors. We've already done yellow, yellow. We've added yellow to our green. So we've already completed the orange portion and the ultraviolet portion, and we're on to the green. So we've added carabin blue and brilliant yellow to our Kelly green, where not much happened. And today we're going to do fire engine red, and I have high hope that something is going to happen today. So we need something to happen because there was not much movement there. If you're interested in this series, I have a full playlist available on the channel, and we also do experimentation with different dye techniques, and I hope you will join us in this adventures. Let's get into today's episode. Welcome back to Color Wheel Monday, the series in which I make my way through color theory, one color at a time. And we are currently completing the secondary color triangle. We are currently working with Kelly green. We've already added carabin blue and brilliant yellow. So today we're going to be adding fire engine red to our mini skeins. So the first thing we're going to do is do our stock solution for fire engine red. I still have some leftover from when we did the so for when we did the two other colors, so we don't need to do Kelly green. We're just going to do fire engine red. What is the stock solution? It is the liquid form of our dry powder. So we need to add water to our dry powder to make a stock solution, and we're going to be doing a 1% depth of shade, so 1% stock solution. So what is a 1% stock solution? It's 1 gram of the dry powder for 100 milliliter of water. So first thing we need to do is we are going to protect our lungs because we only have one pair of lungs and we need to protect them. So you don't need to have this specific brand. You just need to make sure that it's a brand that will avoid the fine particles to get into your lungs, because it is fine particles and we don't want to break that. Okay, so now we're just going to put the respirator on and turn on our scale. You need to make sure that your scale is at 0 before adding anything onto it. And now we're going to measure 1 gram. And I've added way too much. Okay, so we actually do need 0.2. Oh my freaking lord. This is a curse. It's a brand new scale and I think it's cursed. I swear it's cursed. Oh, guy, yeah. And I don't want to do close enough. That's my problem too. Okay, let's wait to see if it changes. Doesn't seem to want to change. I'm getting it. Amazing! Okay, let's. And red dye have a tendency to coagulate, so you want to make sure that you are working it extra, just to make sure that everything is fine. Okay, so. Okay. There we go. Perfect. Okay. Let's go. And since we want the Kelly green to be our main character, we're going to be adding 10 milliliters in each of the mason jars, so they are at 1% depth of shades, because we are using 10-gram mini skeins of stroll fingering from the pick. So it's a 75% superwash merino and a 25% nylon. And 1% depth of shade for a 10-gram mini skein is 10 milliliter of our 1% stock solution. It does math easier when you're working with the metric system, just so you know. And now we're going to be adding our fire engine red by increments. So we're going to be starting at 0.05% depth of shade up to 1% depth of shade. So we're going to be adding 0.5 milliliter here, 1 milliliter here, 2.5 milliliter in this one. We're going to be adding 5 milliliter in the next one for a 0.5% depth of shade. Now we're going to be adding 7.5 milliliter for 0.75% depth of shade. And we're going to be adding 10 milliliter for our 1% depth of shade for the fire engine red. And I'm very curious to see how it was going to happen, because technically green is supposed to neutralize red, so I'm just very curious to see what's going to happen with this. Just a curious person, what can I say? And I fear that this is going to absolutely what can I say? I feel like this is going to be a hell of a lot of work to get this, and I don't think we're going to have anything clean in the jar. I feel like we're going to have a hue of green in each of those mason jars because of Kelly green. This color does not want to fully strike. It feels not necessarily fully strike, but it doesn't want to completely clear off as soon as you're higher than 0.5% depth of shade. So it's going to be a lot of work, I feel. And like I said, I don't know what we're going to have with those greens, because green is supposed to neutralize red. So we might just have a more neutral green. I don't know. We're going to see. And okay, and we do not have any citric acid as of right now in any of the mason jars, and we have about 400 milliliters of tap water. So we can have enough room for the skeins to float around and grab all the color possible. Yeah, I think we're just going to have a less vibrant green and just like a more neutral green. Okay, so now we're going to put this in the double border. Okay, so we still do not have any citric acid or any anything like that in there. We're going to be waiting 15 minutes before adding the citric acid. Rule of thumb when it comes to citric acid, it's 1 tablespoon per 454 grams of fiber or yarn. So when we have 10-gram mini skeins, I would say like an 1/8 of a teaspoon is more than enough for this to strike properly. So see you in 15. Okay, so it's been about 15 minutes. So what we're going to do is we're going to be adding our citric acid. So now that we've added the citric acid, we're going to wait for the temperature to reach between 85 to 95 Celsius. And then we are going to let it cook for half an hour before we are going to be turning off the heat and letting it cooling off completely, and before washing off any excess dye. So See you in a bit. Okay, so it's been about half an hour, and we still have a hint of the green, which I was 100% expecting, especially with Kelly Green. We almost have a black here. Okay, that's interesting. I will be interested to see the final result when this has dried off. So we're going to turn off the heat and let it cool it completely off before we are going to be washing off excess dye. And I am not excited about it because I know we're going to be working a lot harder than usual to get those cleaned off. So I will see you in a bit. Oh, let's do this. And I just want to say that it's actually the first time since we started working with the Kelly Green that I can actually see an actual gradient and I actually see a color difference. Like we almost got black here. I will be very curious to see once it's fully dried what it looks like. So, and I can already see all the bleeding. After that, I'm going to show you the mason jars. So I will let it soak for about 10 to 15 minutes and we'll come back to work with that. Okay, let's do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, cool. I don't want to do this anymore. There's too much green. Okay, so Kelly green and a lot of greens are usually colors that will bleed a lot in general. As soon as you're past a 0.5% of the shade, this becomes a very saturated pigment. Um, so basically, what's going to happen is you're going to have color left in the dye bath. You're going to have color bleeding when you're trying to wash it. So there's different options you have if you're working with a very saturated color or a color that you know you will be bleeding. So for example, colors like that has a neon pigment in it, or colors like Kelly green and some reds, you know that they will be bleeding. So what you can do is either you can block your finished items with a steam block. So if you don't have like the tree steamer thing, you can also use the heat how is it called, the steam thing on your iron thing for your iron board. I don't remember how it's called. Or you can simply just like soak it completely for like a minute. As soon as it's fully covered, fully soaked, just remove it, remove all excess water, and just like block it as you would normally do with anything. Just don't let it soak for like half an hour, and you're going to be fine. So I'm going to let it soak for another 5 to 10 minutes, and we're going to try to come and deal with it again because I'm starting to be tired, friends. Tired. Okay, see you. Okay. I can already see it. Let's do this again. Okay. Okay, no, this is copyright claim. I cannot sing that song. I don't want to be struck for copyright claim. I am tired, my friend. Not gonna lie. So I think I'm going to let it soak a last time, and after that, I'm gonna call it quit. And that, my friend, is why you don't see me with a whole lot of greens, because they are a pain in the bum. So yeah, I'm going to let it soak, take a mental health walk, I guess, and I'll come back. Okay. Let's see if we've done something. Most likely not. I'm missing. There we go. I hate you. I feel like this one is harder because we also have fire engine red in here. So it's just not a pleasant situation. I'm gonna put this in the spin dryer. We're going to let it dry overnight, and tomorrow we'll see the final result. But in the meantime, I'm just gonna show you quickly my mason jars. And you can see that we have a lot of color left. And that's normal because it's freaking Green Kelly. Kelly Green, sorry. And she hates us. She truly does hate us. Yeah, and we also have fire engine red in here, so I'm actually just glad we don't have red on top of the green. But you know what? We might have some red left over with the shade of green we have here. So this is just a reminder that sometimes you will never win against the die. So we're going to let dry the mini skeins overnight, and tomorrow we'll see the final result. So I will see you tomorrow. Bye. And here's the final result of adding fire engine red into our Kelly green. And we finally have some color change that looks like we did something to the yarn. So we actually go from Kelly green to, it looked black in the water, but now that it's dried, it looks more like a dark brown, almost like the peel of your avocado, of an avocado. So at least we have something happening here. So red and green makes brown. That's what we learned. And that Kelly green is a whole lot of a biche to work with, and I don't like her very much. So it's a lot of work for not much. And you can see that, like, for the first a little bit, it just darkened a little bit. And we're still on the warm tone because of the red. So that's nice. So if you want a very dark brown, but still warm, you can go towards Kelly green and mixing with red. So red and green. Which is kind of funny how red and green, it's like the holiday Christmas colors, but you can't really mix them together in the pan. But you can still mix them in the pan. I was also a little surprised. Well, not surprised. I was also expecting a little bit more of neutralizing, because usually the green will neutralize red. So maybe that's why we've got brown. I don't know. So I hope you've liked the video. If you did, please consider sharing, liking, and subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one very soon. Bye!